in Joplin.
It was nice to wrap up the weekend on the quiet note. In the short term, we got a frontal system lifting back to the north. That's going to give us a mild Monday before winter makes a big comeback this week. We'll dive into the forecast coming up.
Plus, Pittsburgh residents are treated to a hunting and fishing show. We'll take you there. Also, while we're in Pittsburgh, we're going to pay a visit to the second annual four-state duel at the high school. And classes are the theme this weekend. We're going to take you to a candle making class in Oswego.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Wintry weather is on its way, and that means snow, bitterly cold temperatures, unpleasant things. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. We're going to kick things off, whether we like it or not, with meteorologist Nick Kelly.
I will start off with some good news, though, Chris. We wrapped up our final weekend of January on a quiet note, and temperatures above normal. Case in point, let me pull up the numbers from Joplin Regional for you today. We actually started near our normal low of 25 this morning with the actual low of 26. But instead of a high of 46, we topped out at 53 this afternoon. And we'll see numbers tomorrow afternoon back above normal quite a bit before big changes start to roll our way. In the short term, though, we just have a little cloud cover trying to come at us from the north and west along a advancing warm front as it pushes out toward the east. This is not what we're tracking. It's this developing cold front and an upper level wave to the northwest. That's going to really start to come into gear as we go through the next few days. For the time being, though, look at where we are right now. Most of us upper 20s to about the mid 30s. Eventually, with the advancing frontal boundary, we've got temperatures set to primarily hold steady. A few upper 20s for some, but most of us drop back to 32. At least Mother Nature will treat us to a nice Monday with partly to mostly sunny skies and highs in the 60s. I think Joplin tops out at 64, but again, winter is going to make its big comeback starting on Tuesday. We'll see how the upcoming storm system's looking here in a bit, Chris.
All right, Nick, thank you. Albert's Marine Annual Fishing and Hunting Show returned to Pittsburgh. The show featured a number of events and exhibits. Some of the things featured included boats, ATVs, tractors, and mowers, and there was even a kids casting contest.
We had this is our 16th annual fishing and hunting show. We've had a great turnout. Yesterday was the busiest day I've seen with just tons of exhibitors, fishing, hunting, taxidermy, all kinds of good stuff for people to see.
The event was held at the Memorial Auditorium and Convention Center. Pittsburgh Wrestling Club hosted a youth tournament for all skill levels today. The tournament provides multiple divisions for both experienced and novice athletes. Those athletes range from kindergarten age to 8th grade.
So this is our second annual four-state duels. We're trying to get teams from all four states here in our four-state area. We got teams from Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas here. We didn't get an Arkansas representative this year, but we got 28 teams, about 300 kids here today.
The tournament was held at the high school. Black Crow Trading Company hosted a candle pouring event today. Participants had the opportunity to make their own candles, and the idea came from one of the vendors at Black Crow who makes candles regularly and thought this would be a great way to bring the community together.
Just getting the community together. Like I said, having something to do, even on a Sunday when there's not a lot going on, brings us together. COVID kind of took a lot of those activities away from us, so this is something that we can just enjoy together.
Owen says, as a small community, it is important to support their local businesses. The day after a powerful nor'easter pounded the East Coast, people are starting to dig out from the heavy snowfall. After the blizzard, the concern now is freezing temperatures, especially in Massachusetts, where thousands remained without power. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette reports from Riverhead, New York.
Like millions of people in the Northeast, Sal Rosado of Long Island, New York, has his work cut out for him after this weekend's big blizzard.
Dug my own house out, came over to my father-in-law's, dug him out, coming and doing the path in front of his house.
Parts of New England, especially Massachusetts, saw the brunt of the massive storm that stretched from Virginia to Maine. Ice encased these homes in Brant Rock after fierce winds slammed huge waves against the seawall. Nantucket was also among the towns flooded as storm surge and strong gusts ripped across the area. In Boston, nearly 2 feet of snow fell, sometimes as much as 3 inches an hour.
This was officially designated a blizzard by the National Weather Service, and we reached a total of 23.8 inches of snow.
Boston's mayor says that ties a city record set in 2003 for the biggest single-day snowfall. Here on eastern Long Island, it was the first official blizzard in 4 years. Flooding wasn't a problem, but it was so cold on Sunday, the National Weather Service issued an advisory to boaters, warning them about freezing spray that could affect the way their boats operate. Frigid temperatures still blanketing the Northeast pose a danger to anyone without power or warm shelter. But now, forecasters say relief from the big chill is in sight, as more moderate weather is expected to move in this week. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Riverhead, New York.
Now, by Sunday afternoon, more than 100,000 customers in the Northeast remained without power, which might not be restored until Monday, and several deaths of people shoveling snow on New York's Long Island were reported. We take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Sergeant First Class Billy Pryor served in the Army during the Korean War. His hometown, Fredonia. We're proud to recognize Sergeant First Class Billy Pryor, tonight's four-state hero. And as always, learn more about other heroes or nominate one of your own, just go over to KOAMNewsNow.com. Still ahead, backlash against Spotify continues as they suffer a major loss.
One of the biggest mistakes we see people.
Welcome back. Backlash against Spotify continues. Spotify has reportedly lost more than $2 billion in market value thanks to a dispute with rock legend Neil Young. The streaming service was forced to take down Young's music after he demanded Spotify make a choice to either remove Joe Rogan's podcast or remove his catalog. Young says he believes Rogan is spreading misinformation about the COVID-19 pandemic and the effectiveness of vaccines. Since their dispute, singer Joni Mitchell has joined Young in requesting her music to be removed from Spotify. Apple is launching new ways of expressing pregnancy in a new tech launch touching on modern gender identities and expressions. The computer and tech giant is including new emojis to express pregnancy happiness. The images will contain a pregnant man and a gender-neutral pregnant person. A non-binary image of a person wearing a crown will also be added. The expressions are part of Apple's new operating system beta test. Now, some culture critics say the inclusive emojis remove gender distinctives between men and women. Others are praising the company for being accepting to trans and non-binary people. The images come in 5 different skin tones. A major automaker is aiming at the moon and then Mars by building a multifunction surface vehicle. Toyota is developing a roving vehicle with the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency called the Lunar Cruiser, with a name similar to its Land Cruiser SUV. A launch date set for the late 2020s. The vehicle would be a mobile work, eat, sleep, and communications platform. The Lunar Cruiser will also have a robotic arm used for inspection and maintenance. Toyota hopes the project will create future usable Earth technology as well. One of the nation's largest telecom companies is cutting the cord on employees against COVID policies. In a memo to staff on Friday, T-Mobile announced all corporate employees are required to get the COVID vaccine. Those who fail to do so by April 2nd will be fired. This, according to an email from T-Mobile's Chief of Human Resources. Employees must receive their first dose by February 21st in order to prevent being first placed on unpaid leave. After that, those who fail to be fully vaccinated by the April deadline will have their employment terminated. Thousands flooded the streets of the Canadian capital to protest mandates for coronavirus vaccines. Marchers and truckers took to the streets of Ottawa to condemn the mandates set forth by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. While the protests were peaceful, those demonstrating drew condemnation from Canadians for their actions, not in protesting, but in disregard and distaste for monuments. Protesters parked on the grounds of the National War Memorial and danced on Canada's Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, drawing rebukes from Canada's Chief of Defense Staff. Later on the KOAM News at 10, it's Sunday, so it's time for our weekly look back at the box office.
But first, Mother Nature will be kind to us to give us a nice Monday to kick off the new work week and school week. Then big changes for the middle of the week. Forecast next.
We're here to help. We are the force.
Arby's, we have the meats.
Well, it was nice to keep things quiet for today and set for a quiet day tomorrow. We got a lot to unpack over the next 3 minutes or so, so let's just start diving right in. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, your live shot outside of Seneca, Missouri, showing quiet skies throughout the course of the evening, and quiet skies is what we had all day long, so that allowed us to warm back up nicely, even though we were definitely a little bit cooler compared to the mid to upper 50s we saw yesterday around Joplin especially. We dropped back into the upper 20s this morning. Then we were able to rebound at least into the lower 50s this afternoon, so we kept things quiet and nice, chilly and above normal to wrap up this weekend, but still big changes on the way once we get past a nice mild Monday lined up for us. But at 10:14 though, we're looking good from 7th and Range Line. Clear skies up top, 35 degrees with an east breeze at 5, giving us a bit of a wind chill, right around 31 degrees, but that gives you a hint though, with the way I'm seeing things. That's pretty much where we're going to bottom out and hold steady as we go throughout the overnight hours. So it has gotten quite a bit colder since we saw our highs from the lower to mainly mid-50s throughout the course of the afternoon. Temperatures have dropped off mainly into, let's say, the upper 20s in a couple of spots like Parsons at 27, but most of us are in the lower to middle 30s. I don't see these numbers dropping off much more from here on out because our light breeze that we had throughout the day and even out of the north and northwest at about 5 miles per hour, look at how it's more shifting out of the east and eventually out of the southeast. That's hinting that a returning south wind for tomorrow is going to at least give us a nice mild Monday to start the new work week and school week out. Maybe overnight a little bit of cloud cover coming in from the north, but we are quiet for tonight as this frontal boundary parked on top of the region starts to lift back to the northeast. That's what will get us back into the 60s tomorrow. But this trailing cold front arcing back up into Canada and into the Pacific Northwest, that's one part of the big storm system that's brewing on its way in, including this upper level low developing out in Canada. We're watching these features closely because still sticking with what Doug's been saying over the past few days, this is definitely going to bring a big change in the weather setup with winter poised to make a big comeback. Here we are in the short term though. Maybe a little bit of cloud cover at times passing through overnight, but you can see how temperatures primarily hold steady in the lower 30s. Maybe a few spots sneaking back into the upper 20s before sunrise, but most of us will drop back and hold steady to about 32 degrees to start the morning out. A south breeze at 5 to 15 for the afternoon pushes us to 58 by noon, and highs in Joplin right around 64 degrees. In fact, everybody will go lower to middle 60s. So this is going to feel nice. And we better savor these temperatures before we see the big changes start to roll on in as we go into Tuesday. The front at the surface starts working in first, picking up Gulf moisture. Rain chances as a result with 50s on Tuesday. Then the colder air starts slamming in going into Wednesday morning. A mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. That's what's on the cards as we go throughout our Wednesday. Then, with enough cold air in place, this system will end its precip chances as snow as we go into Thursday. But there is a few things that I want to point out, though. We're increasingly confident that the likelihood of this being a good, decent winter storm is increasing. Looking at what Doug's been looking at as well, accumulating snow looks likely north of I-44 with more of an ice situation south of the interstate, but we're still watching a few things that we need to fine tune, but Doug and I will get a better handle of expected amounts as we go throughout the day tomorrow. One thing that is for sure behind the storm system is an Arctic blast coming in to start the weekend out. So here's what I mean. 64 tomorrow, it's going to be a nice day. 55 Tuesday, 35 Wednesday morning, then dropping through the 20s throughout the day. 20 on Thursday, starting at 3 to 5 degrees. Friday and Saturday morning, we'll go from the 20s Friday afternoon, and then back into 30s for the rest of the weekend.
Between the snow and everything else, then we got the temperature drop. As we mentioned before, it's an excellent opportunity. If you don't have the Skywatch weather app, get it now. That way you can stay in touch with these guys.
Yeah, especially with the big winter comeback heading our way soon.
Absolutely, Nick. Thank you so much. Turning to sports, a little bit more exciting news, something that's not so cold and snowy. It's Championship Sunday in the NFL.
We got 4 teams left, Rams and 49ers in the NFC Championship, plus Chiefs host the Bengals. Highlights and post-game reaction next. This is the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The Kansas City Chiefs appear in their 4th straight AFC Championship this afternoon, hosting the Bengals. The Bengals beat the Chiefs in the regular season. This game here, a little bit more on the line. We'll pick it up with this crazy but not too surprising play by Patrick Mahomes in the second, escapes pressure, hits Travis Kelce for the 5-yard score, 14-3 Chiefs. Then Joe Burrow to Samaje Perine. He carries it 41 yards to the end zone for the Bengals' first touchdown of the game. Now the Chiefs can't get anything before half, so it's 21-10 at the break. Third quarter now, Mahomes picked off by B.J. Hill, and a few plays later, Cincinnati capitalizes. Burrow to Jamar Chase. They go for 2 to tie the game at 21. It's still tied after regulation. Chiefs with the ball to start overtime. Mahomes deep to Tyreek Hill. He throws his second pick of the day, and Evan McPherson walks it off with a 31-yard field goal. Cincinnati shocks Kansas City with the comeback 27-24 to win the AFC Championship.
We expect to be in that game and to win that game. And anything less than that is not success. And when you're playing a good team and you don't hit what's there and you try to get a little bit more than what's necessary, you kind of bite you in the butt, I guess you would say. I mean, it's something that we were playing so well in the first half. In the second half, we were just off a tick, and that's all it takes to lose a football game. But I mean, I got to be better. I mean, when you're up 21-3 at one point in the game, you can't lose it. And I put that on myself.
Rams hosting the 49ers in the NFC Championship, scoreless after 1. Then Matthew Stafford fires to Cooper Kupp in the corner of the end zone. Later, Deebo Samuel makes the catch, goes the rest of the way, 44-yard score, 10-7 Niners at half. In the third, adding to their lead, George Kittle, 16-yard score, 17-7 San Francisco. Third and short here, back to Kupp. He finishes with 142 yards and 2 scores. Los Angeles hits 2 field goals to take a 20-17 lead. 49ers here looking at third and long. Pressure from Aaron Donald. Rams grab the interception. That seals the game. Rams snap a 6-game losing streak to the Niners, 2017, and LA is headed to the Super Bowl. A Super Bowl 56 is now set. The Cincinnati Bengals make their first trip to the big game since 1989. The Bengals face the Rams, who get to play at their home stadium in Los Angeles. The Super Bowl is on February 13th at 5:30. When we come back, it was a good week for Missouri Southern basketball. We'll take a look back on Southern's sweep over Northeastern State.
Outpost Casino, your favorite.
Welcome back to the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The Missouri Southern men and women are on a roll as of late. Southern swept Northeastern State on Saturday. That was the 7th win in a row for the women. They're currently 11-3 in the MIAA. That's good for 3rd place. Against the Riverhawks, Lacey Stokes posted her 6th game of 20 or more points this season and added 7 assists. Caitlin Honeycutt and Lane Skiles also made some big contributions. It wasn't a perfect day for the Lions, but they made adjustments and got the job done.
I thought the first half they were the more energetic team, more effort team, getting to the loose balls, getting second chance opportunities, and I thought we did a much better job in the second half.
He was just telling us what we need to do, talking about rebounding, that's something I feel like we've really done well at these last few games, and we just couldn't find our, touch. We kind of, told everyone, everybody it's a team thing, and it's not just, our bigs.
The men beat Northeastern State 77-66. Stan Scott dropped his 3rd straight double-double. Christian Bundy and Avery Taggart also finished in double digits. And R.J. Smith played his first game back since injury in November. He received a standing ovation when he was first subbed in and then brought everyone back on their feet with a big dunk right before half.
It took a minute for me to realize what even happened, and then afterwards everybody's coming up screaming at me, and then that kind of just hyped me up. So then I was like, yeah, that was good. And that's something I will never forget.
I thought his energy, just his voice, and it was just uplifting for our team. Just, even in practice, just having him out on the floor, and his communication skills on the defensive end has been really big for us. And that's what at times we missed this year without him being out. And but that's one of the best things that he does for us. He just plays so hard.
Pitt State hosted the Wendy's PSU Invitational on Saturday. Missouri Southern competed as well, and both teams enjoyed a day of success. The Pitt State women won 4 events. Isabel Peters in the pole vault, Anna Childress in the triple jump, Christine Williams won the 200-meter dash, and the PSU women won the distance medley. For the men, LJ Kiner won the long jump, Bryce Grahn took first in the 3,000-meter run, and the men's distance medley team also won. Missouri Southern's Claire Llewellyn placed second in the long jump. She posted an NCAA provisional qualifying distance, reaching 5.88 meters. That mark ties her career best and is the 3rd best in MSSU indoor history. Ryan Riddle won the mile, running it in 4 minutes, 1.59 seconds. He's pretty fast. He set the facility and meet record and was a half second off his own school record. His time is also good for 5th nationally this season. Now, Josh Fulmer won the weight throw with the NCAA provisional qualifying distance, and Mason York won the pole vault. In the early morning hours here in the U.S., Rafael Nadal made history at the Australian Open. Nadal dropped the first 2 sets in the finals against Daniil Medvedev, but he came storming back to win it in 5. It's his 21st Grand Slam title, making him the most decorated men's single champion in history. We're back right after this.
Oswego Drugstore for a free hormone consultation.
With a huge storm keeping much of the U.S. at home and no new movies in theaters, it was a slow weekend at the box office. But which films did draw people to the multiplex? David Daniels got the early top 5 estimates.
$1.8 million kept The King's Man in 5th place. Redeeming Love managed to stay in 4th, earning $1.9 million. Sing 2 is up to $135 million domestic after a 3rd place weekend worth $4.8 million. Scream settled for 2nd place, scaring up $7.4 million.
They're a danger to our universe.
Nothing can stop Spider-Man No Way Home. The blockbuster made another $11 million for a domestic total of $736 million, closing in on Avatar for 3rd place on the all-time chart. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Despite no new movies, looks like the ones that are out there are still doing pretty good. Something didn't do pretty good. Chiefs.
I know, we had some sad people around here, lots of sad people at home. Chiefs fans, they fall to the Bengals today, so it will be Bengals and the Rams in the Super Bowl.
All right, if we have to. Nick, another not so exciting thing, your forecast.
Well, I can give you good news for tomorrow at least. We'll be back to 64 with partly to mostly sunny skies. Then our next big storm system we're watching Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Starts as rain and wintry weather, making a comeback.
All right, guys, thank you so much. That's our time for now, and we'll see you back here next weekend. Thanks for making us part of your night.
Service is provided by the Wild.